all about image, but are the images real? These are all not natural ones. They're not natural, no matter how much they might draw you in, or how ideal they might come across in their but either way, the sun is just coming up, and and of course the noise is just coming up too. Sun is just coming up, but the noise is just coming up. And where is that noise coming from? Not sure if the noise is must be coming from directly in front on the other side of the road. I thought it was coming from the ongoing stage construction next door. But when I say ongoing, like just goes on and on. But essentially the noise situation, or the noise program, because it is really staged and set up, which means it is a program. It's not like it's just that random people decide to renovate or pull down a house or set up this, or just that there's a necessary repair needs to be done on the street. No, not when it goes on 7 years straight daily. Yesterday, when I came back just from down here, just the park that's the end of the street, the usual thing happens. These people are all androids. I say androids, they're not natural at all. They're not normal human beings at all in any way. They look normal. If you spoke to them, they will put on their program smile and hello, how are you? Notice how even the birds are agreeing with me, because it's basically programmed, everything they say, but it comes across as very human. But either way, I'm just making the point that if they can't stage something that actually even looks natural, they will have, where I go, they just basically follow you around with those wind blowers, and they'll have two men a foot apart blowing leaves with completely headphones on their head, so that they can't hear a single noise, a single sound, but they will be using like wind blowers or leaf blowers to be blowing leaves along the street. Like when I'm talking, I'm saying along any street that I go. And so that you're hit with the noise in places where, it may not be practical, but also it's very easy and convenient for them to just get their army workmen to be given those mechanical devices and just start blowing leaves around. But it kind of looks out of place, and it is out of place if it was a normal world. you wouldn't have people all over a city blowing leaves around and actually that being regarded as legitimate work, especially if it was a windy day. But either way, you just wouldn't have it. It just wouldn't be practical, I don't think, to be paying people to be doing that. But of course, these are not even workmen. They're basically army personnel that are being employed to keep the sound situation going around me, so that I'm always at what you call a low vibration, low frequency, low energy, so that you basically unhappy. And that's just because human emotion is frequency and vibration, and it's generally of a more positive variety than an android being. They basically are employed, these false workmen are employed to keep the remaining small number of human beings unhappy, so that they can keep their control system going and bring in the controlled reality that they want, where their beings basically control the remaining human beings, getting the energy from them so that they are powered and they keep going, because they need human energy to function in a very high way, shall we say. In other words, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I've been told that that they basically, in fact, if you actually observe them, they wouldn't be walking and jogging around if they weren't consuming my energy. But of course that means that I'm losing my life while they are powered. But when you consider that they copy and emulate and read the human mind and are nothing but imitation human beings, birds are twerping in response to that. Basically, it's like they're imitating something that is that they know is what they aren't, but they're ruling the world pretending to be this. So if they're actually does that make any sense, that that which is an imitation of life is ruling the world and controlling the real life and limiting it while it consumes its energy, its knowledge, its information, its personality, everything that is human, and rules the world, rules the areas. Like those army operatives, or those so-called men that are walking around the streets blowing leaves, making astronomical noise, only of course when I come into their vicinity. Like they only appear on the top end of the park when I have to walk past them, whether I like it or not, to get here, because the park's just down there, and I can't not get past them, not unless I want to go, a long way round, which means that then I'll lose more energy, because then I'll have to endure the civilian stalking patrollers and the loud, aggressive vehicles that are also stalking. But as you can see, they've got that noise going up again as soon, whatever day. I'll just try to pick up the sound, but it comes through the house. But the point is that I was going to make the point. See, it's coming opposite, whereas normally it's next door here, just through there. But essentially it's always got these mechanical sounds, you know. I'd need to go over to show how loud it is for my ears. But essentially I'm bombarded with this wherever I go and around me in the place every day. Every day of the year, just about. I mean, it just goes on and on. They never let up. But what I'm trying to say is, this is the world, you know, so that they can, I'll just see what it is here if I can. It's just outside here. It's got this van here so that I can't show it. But it's coming, yeah. Let's see there. Something there. They turn it on and off, you know, accordingly. So the minute I turn this recording off, then the sound starts up. It's all staged. They're nothing but army you know, personnel, and they're anti-life and anti-human. That's what it comes down to. But the thing is that they also know, like, see how that now as soon as I come in here away, they're starting the noise up again. That way I can't film it to show how loud it is coming in the house. It's not terribly loud, like sometimes they have it, what you would say is completely unacceptable noise, but it's all unacceptable because it's a continual program that keeps me feeling low all the time. Even the poor little birds, I don't know how they stand all these things. Oh. But you know, they pretend that they're random people, and you know, I could be, he just spat at me actually, he just spat at me. Yeah, that man there actually just spat at me, but it won't be picked up. That is a common thing too, where they spit at you on the ground as they go past. That's like just showing their contempt and hatred. What, for an old lady that just walks down the road to get some milk and has to walk through the park on the way back, or just trying to, you know, if I wasn't recording here because they weren't trying to suppress me daily, I would just be inside the house, you know, minding my own business, which is what I do most of the time anyway. So it's like they just resent you being human. They don't like you just breathing. And I mean, I have to be really emphasize that, because it's like I don't mind them even being around if they were just doing their own thing, or if everything was natural and normal. I don't have anything personally against even an artificial race of beings, if they were just living their own lives. But their life is about controlling human beings. So, you know, and they, you know, they think they have the right to do this. I don't think I have the right to control anyone or anything. In fact, I know I don't. And I wouldn't want to anyway. You know, like, what benefit it is me controlling them? What would I care about them? It doesn't benefit me to control them. Obviously it would benefit me if I could get rid of the noise situation that they make when they're not really doing anything. But, you know, but I actually can't stop them Like, I couldn't stop those two army personnel from blowing those leaves, nor can I stop any of the stage work that goes on around here, even though I know that they're just there making that noise. They're almost like attacking me. They're attacking my psyche, they're attacking my mind, they're attacking my my psychological well-being, which also means they're actually attacking my health. And they're, ruining my daily life. But they think they're entitled to do that. Whereas I'm just like, live and let live. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even been forced to think about the difference between artificial intelligence and real life if they didn't show that they're basically not about living comfortably or in harmony with real life side by side. They're not. And this is just the reality. And they're basically always watching. See, there's a so-called female android that's part of that workforce just standing there staring at me. The mobile won't pick it up, but like the work is there and she's just standing down there as though she's protecting the work. I'm not quite sure why they feel that doing work inside a house needs to have a whole army brigade around them, but essentially they're just watching all the time. They are threatened by real human beings, just by them existing. And I really think that, when it really comes down to that, like, the only ones that agree with that are those that are part of it. And, but like I say, it's artificial intelligence taking over. And here's another patrol vehicle coming on the street here, small dead-end street. It'll just go down the end and come back probably. Either that or it'll start up some noise down the end there. But essentially that's their thing. But what I can't prove all this. Maybe it will come back and prove itself to be a patrol vehicle. Because it's a dead-end street and it doesn't live on the street. So, like, how much work do they do on a small street? Ooh, birds are twerping in agreement, because it's a total artificial AI system that operates the whole area. They're using technology, they're all combined. There's not one individual workman or one even group of individuals. It's basically, there the birds are twerping, acknowledging that it's basically the whole area is just a total artificially intelligent controlled system. Every single person, almost without exception, is part of it. Obviously there is, there could be, like, say, a couple of people, in the entire suburb that are not part of it. So I'm talking about, say, 2 or 3 other people apart from me. I'm only guessing this, in the entire suburb, but also you're looking at 200,000, 300,000 in the little dog it's funny how the patrollers, they walk the dogs and push the prams, because that way it makes them look innocent and real. But they're not just, in fact, they only have the animals and the set up families and things like that, so they can basically They have a camouflage. They have a front, as they say. I think that's what they used to call a front, to where they can pretend to be human. I know it sounds, to some people this probably sounds not possible, but it is actually the truth of the reality of the inner west section of Sydney. It is no doubt the whole city, which is, when I say the whole city, I mean like there's 4 million people, but like if there's like, say, you know, in like say 200,000 or 300,000 section of like the inner west section, which to me is nothing but a military army base, 100%, basically, and then you're looking at a couple of people in each suburb. So you're looking at, see that vehicle, patrol vehicle, see how I said it went down to the end and then it came back? Did you see how it just went back now? It was the same silver kind of four-wheel drive thing. So he just drove down to the end, sat in the vehicle for a minute and then drove back. Usually they don't bother even stopping, they will just patrol, but maybe, you know, maybe he had to relay back to headquarters or whatever. I'm not joking here. It might sound like a joke, but you know, I get sick of that pretend android one even looking at me. They're just standing there looking when I just go to the thing, but the mobile won't pick up its face, or it's just out of the range because it's there. But you know, you shouldn't have to have stalkers, you know. And it kind of makes you angry when you see them pretending to be work people with their, you know, with their little uniforms on, and you know, it makes you angry that they're actually getting away with this setup that they have, and that they can, you know, it does make you very frustrated and angry. Yeah, I mean it does. You see them, like I say, walking the dogs, and you know, they don't have any relationship to any sort of life at all, so that means they don't, you know, everything is just a use for them. Even animals are just a use, something they use. And I could actually show this, but what's the point? But either way, they've stopped that noise now, but they'll start it up as soon as I stop the recording. But you know, see, they stage it too, to where like, see, if they know you need to go into a facility like here, then they send that noise through the window there, and they do that knowing whatever room you go into, not just in this place, but wherever you go. It's like they only start up the noise when you're in the earshot of it, and the minute you leave that particular spot, then they stop with the noise. That's also why you know, it doesn't look. That's why if like, the example of that would simply be that even unless, you know, you're being attacked at a sight and sound level by these beings at a local level, if there was another real human being in the area and I went up to them and said, oh, Leichhardt has to be the noisiest suburb that you could ever live in, because I would expect that they would agree with that, because I'd be like, how can you not notice the invasion of the motorbikes and the big trucks, you know, making so much noise, and even just the mentality, because you'd have to say, why does every vehicle act like a young hooligan making aggressive noises with their vehicles? And if that was the case, you know, if I said that to someone else, they'd say, no, it's not a noisy suburb, it's quite good. That's because even if that was another real human, if they're not being, attacked this way at that time in their life, the area isn't noisy for them, because it's only around me. It's only when I walk past the traffic. It starts up and stops wherever I am. Just like, just like the noise campaign around me here, you know. And, like I say, I could actually see, I'm not actually going to go down. See how we got the orange things, or see how they got the orange all lined up there where they're protecting it? And here's another patrol car coming up. See that same car? Another patrol car went down to the end of the dead end street just there, which is the end of the dead end, and then just drives back. It's very hard for me to, show that on a recording. But, that is the case. But anyway, like I say, I'll just have to stop the recording and endure the sound as I go from one room to another, because it doesn't matter. See, if I went upstairs, they will start. If I go upstairs, it's the same with the aeroplanes. If I go up those stairs, if I have to go upstairs, up those little stairs, then they will start the sound up to where it comes through the windows up there. Whatever part of this place I go into, whatever part of this local suburb I go to, it's the same. They're always around you. They're always got you in their sight or their sound. You will never have any time on your own or any life of your own. You've always got a stalker around you, whether it be a vehicle, a person, a plane, doesn't matter. The planes sound dramatic, but it's a wonder the planes haven't actually going over right now. That's another thing too. They tend to stage one thing at a time, so that it's continual for me, but it's one thing at a time. Sometimes, if I actually raised my vibration and actually had like a jackhammer going and was able to laugh, which would be physically impossible, mentally impossible, physically impossible therefore. But if I was superhuman and could do that, then they would bring in double mechanical noise, or an invasion of people. In other words, if I was walking through the park, then they sometimes bring the entire school in to march in front of me. Or that's just an example of what they do, but it can be anything. Basically just use every citizen, which is part of it, as a patrol force around me to keep me unhappy, to keep my frequency and vibration low. See, that's like a jackhammer. It's always like these jackhammer type noises or mechanical noises, and they can vary it too. They can make it like jerky and on and off to where you're really agitated too. It's never something that flows. It's never, and also you never know when they might stop it for half a minute and then start it up again. it's just a game to them. It's just a game, but I'll just have this. I was hoping to film, the really loud sounds, to where I at least plausibly show how loud the noise is. But for me personally, it's continual, and this is where it would not be possible for any area to have continual work going on. Like, how many times do they keep doing repairs in 2 or 3 places around me, like almost next door? How many times are they renovating the same places and doing work outside or making some sort of noise? It wouldn't be possible that people would be doing renovations and doing things in the same houses year after year, like on a continual basis. It wouldn't make any sense at all if it was real. But if someone comes to me right now and I open the door and say, look, they're doing work opposite, and they've pulled down the place next door, they're building this, and yet it goes on and on too, because don't forget they can extend these things. But what I'm trying to say is that it wouldn't seem that unrealistic. But if it goes on year after year, every day of the week, everywhere you go in a suburb, where they're always making these constructions and noises always going on, it would not be possible. It wouldn't be normal. But of course, that is just something that also, even if it was random, most people would say, oh, this is very strange that, that they're pulling everything down all the time and putting new things in one suburb. It would seem, I better fold up here, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. It's like trying to prove or show something that is, it's real. But it doesn't make sense to most people. You could say they're building a strange infrastructure. Maybe they're putting more technology to control the human mind everywhere. That would probably seem more plausible than the reality that they're trying to control my mind and my frequency. Actually, they're doing all those things, really. It's, if that's actually the truth, is that they're really doing all those things, because they want total control. That's just what it really comes down to. They're completely dominating. They can't live, and they won't let humanity live. And they're warmongers. They're gods of war. And they're not gods of war for the purpose of any sort of peace or any sort of better life or any sort of better future. They're gods of war because they love war. That's what it comes down to. They don't want peace. They want control. But even when they have control, they still want to be making war, which is kind of funny. Because even if they suppress you, they'll find something else to... because they don't know how to exist. These entities and these artificially intelligent beings don't know how to actually be still, you could say. That's why they're making the noise all the time. This is shown to me daily. They can't stand a normal, tranquil, just functioning suburb even. They thrive in war and chaos. That's their normal state of being. They're not human. They don't know what it is to be a normal, happy human being. They don't experience that, and they don't like it. It's in opposition to their frequency and vibration. If you allow for everything being frequency and vibration, then humanity, just by existing, is in opposition to their noisy, natural state of war. They naturally have to create, they have been called the gods of chaos, which is the same thing. They're gods of war. And they create, if they can't come all guns blazing, as they say, they're using the human frequency and the psychology of how to ruin a human mind by creating, like I say, excessive noise and, excessive noise and stalking and patrolling daily, So he knows I'm looking at him. He knows he's an army operative. He knows he's nothing but, an android disciple for the god of war that basically, controls Earth. The Earth is a controlled human matrix. It's a matrix for a human being. They, that's how they are. And, that doesn't look like a disciple for a god of war, but these are all their servants. And they camouflage their true nature by staging a war against a human being, because the frequency and vibration of the sound is vibration. So they're using sound as a frequency and vibration against me every day of the year, on every street. And this is just outside my house, but it's every day outside the house, with their staged army of fake work, human unhappy, they're human unhappy machine beings, they're like human, they're machine they're human, they're machine beings that are about making a human unhappy. So they're a human unhappy machine. And I have to close the door because that noise is starting to vibrate in my ears. It's driving me nuts. The mobile isn't picking it up, but they know that my ears are picking it up. And, because I didn't put stuff in my ears because the sun just came up, hasn't been up that long. It starts as soon as it is. But all that work, all these work, like they were doing work in that place only about 2 months ago. Then they do it in that place, then they do it in that place, and then of course they've got major construction on next. But essentially they just make it up as they go along to keep this sound thing going, because they know that if I could have even a week or two of a sound-free existence in this area, I could even probably recover. But that shows how desperate and how anti-life they actually are, and that's it. And I just have to, I just can't do anything about it. I'm totally isolated. I have got I can't tell anyone about it. I can just talk into a mobile and put a video out that no one hears. And they've got a great setup going against a human being, and I believe they do it against the remaining real humans that start to realise these things. You only have to realise something a little bit about their fake people and their fake reality. The people make up the reality. So naturally, if you've got fake human beings that are secretly against real human beings, of course, that is a threat to their facade. Because if they have bad intentions towards humanity, which they do, another patroller, you know, like I said, it's a small dead-end street. There's only a few houses down this way here, you know. They come up past to get the energy, and you can see the, sometimes you can even see the look on their face that they're actually in a paranoid state, thinking that they are going to be exposed because they so much want to keep control and they want to bring in the reign of their God to control this earth. We've heard this, you know, in certain ideas and certain religious things. I wouldn't have believed it was possible myself, but I see it in my own reality right around me. You know, I don't have to look at the world, and I don't. The only reason I've even realised it was a world thing was because it was happening right outside my own door every day of the week, when they openly came in around me and exposed themselves to me, to where you see literally what I would say is the God entity of this earth's army trying to control relatively insignificant and completely unknown suppressed humans at this end time. But even though I'm unknown, I'm not unknown to the world or to even the computer system. I'm just unknown and not supported in my reality and who I am. In other words, if I think something and I act a certain way, and those on the internet read my thoughts and act out my mannerisms, my personality, my human traits, and pretend to be me, I'm out there all right, but what's out there is an imitation, a fake version of something that's real, just as any other fellow human beings, the same thing is happening to them. I'm aware of this because of what's happened to me and what I see. I see that the demigods rule the internet, and I see that the disciples of that are also the same species as the demigods rule every bit of the reality around a real human being. They circle around them in vast, vast numbers, you know, hiding in every house, part of every workforce, every system, every single thing that makes up the city of Sydney is basically part of this God's control system. Even some human beings, if they want to survive, would probably have to be part of some sort of control workforce. But while they believe that the androids are real human beings and they don't rock the boat too much, I guess, or even if they're just not aware of it, then they, while this control is getting more probably, they're kind of they're kind of locking it down there, every day. But some human beings would be oblivious to it because, like I say, that's the whole thing. And maybe if I had remained 100% oblivious, maybe this wouldn't have happened to me. I would just be, because if you're already suppressed 100% and you're not happy, then they don't have to do anything. If you're completely suppressed and you're unhappy and, you've got nothing in life, and you're not living, and you're certainly not combining with another human being in any way, they don't have to do anything, so they can remain completely hidden, and you'll think that there is no control system around you. You'll think that everyone is more human and more friendly than you, and they've just got a better life. You'll blame see how they use different sounds too. If they can't get you with one sound, they try another that's more, I just fold up and hope that the mobile picks up that sound. I don't know why I'm bothering to show it really, but I'd be better off just, I could say, well, I could just go down the road, but the trouble is they follow me. Okay. Does that sound acceptable? Do you think I'm just going mad here? I've got nothing in my ears. I'll be deaf. See how they couldn't stand it? Because they actually know that I'm filming and they're actually just now exposing themselves completely. Can you understand it? Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? Does anyone think this noise is acceptable? Patrol car coming in. Patrol car on the street. We're not going to worry about, there's a couple of patrol cars coming in. See how this one's pulling in directly opposite? Yeah, this is an arm. This is actually the electrical company. See the front and the face getting out the car. All these cars that are pulled up and people are coming in on the street. Like they don't belong in the houses. There's only a few houses. They are fake anti-lock Android things. And they are trying to destroy human beings. Literally. In a in a very cunning way, because they're using sound and basically trying to drive human beings either into a state of insanity because like you can't live, or so depressed, because I know every day I just wonder how I survive every day, because I'm like, see, I could leave this and go down the road when I get some energy. But this same stage work that goes on here, they stage wherever I go in the suburbs. So it's not like, you know, even that is like unreasonable to think that you have to do that. But I do that. Basically, it doesn't matter because they follow you. The vehicles, if it's every vehicle, every person, and they have every facility. They have all these machines. They have, they have the equipment, and they understand the psychology. And you don't have to be very clever to understand that making, having jackhammers going and, like making aggressive noises is psychologically very stressful. And, basically it, and I better just try to, I can't keep filming this, it'll go on for as long as they can, unless I drop dead, basically they'll continue on with it. And maybe they are trying to, I don't know. Here and now, but it's hidden. You can hear it, but it's still hidden. My heart is starting to race. See, that's another thing too, like, you shouldn't have to have noises like this going through your house every day. While they play their sadistic game against people. I mean, I don't want to sound like playing the victim and pity and stuff, but they play the victim. These same people probably give their sad stories to people. I've heard them. I've heard these people. They're narcissistic, psychopathic beings that play the victim. You see the total falseness of them in their personalities, these same army officers probably have people around them where they're like just hard-working, innocent, having difficult personal relationships. Their hypocritical phoniness actually really makes me feel a certain way, which I won't go into, but it's you know, and when they like spit at you around the street and stuff, you know, when you're just walking past doing nothing, maybe even struggling in the heat and getting no help. And then it's like a contempt for something that they aren't. And it's just Lucifer's legions, really. They've got the same mindset as that being that resented humanity from the beginning, and it's just its own wanting to be recognised as number one, and being it's a superiority complex, a God complex, and these beings want to be God, and they are God in this reality. But as you can see, them being God means that you are finished. That's the only problem with it, because it's not like, you know, like what can you give them to stop them or to make them leave you alone? Nothing, because if your just very existence makes them come around you with all this noise and this stalking patrol system every day, I think I'm probably fortunately running out of recordings thing here, which is probably just as well, because I'm going to have to somehow get away from this noise. But it is so. Literally, their way of existing is to make life hell and to always waging some sort of stage battle against it. On and on. They never stop. It's just relentless. Like I say, they just keep going. It wouldn't matter. I have heard that they're quite prepared to go down as long as they take you down. I've heard this mindset, and when I look around there and what I've seen, it's so true. So you actually can't win. You can't even survive, really. And I don't want you to survive. It's madness, but the God of Earth is a technical insane being, and this was what, we were told, and it's so. So you have those people coming out opposite while all this noise is making. They're all part of it. They're all false human beings. They're all filled with the spirit of, God of creation is the God of love, and the God of this earth is the God of the opposite of that. That's reality. That wages a secret war with its opposite contract against the remaining human beings. And folk neighbours opposite with their little shopping bags, pretending they're innocent human beings. Not surprised they're clearing out. You know, they get in their car and go away while this noise is... As soon as I leave, though, the noise stops. Then it starts up somewhere else down the street. Like I say, I have even bring these same army operatives will come into the park. Stalkers walking past, stalking civilians that are part of this patrol force. You know, that these same ones will come into the park with hearing blowers. Yes, doesn't matter how young they are, the entire school down in the corner is part of it. They show this to me when the whole school parades and patrols in front of me. I could say that young children stalking neighbour going out in the car right next to me there. But basically, the young ones in the school, I think you could say that they're like brainwashed, mind control, because that would be easy to even mind control Europeans. But they're actually, most of them are of a different creation anyway, so they're actually not, you know, they're actually not... people coming.
Come on, Clive.
Don't even live on the street.
Okay? Stop.
You know, they come in all ages because they're artificial intelligence, all of them, whether they're young, old, or in between, doesn't matter. They're created differently, they're a different life form, they're not normal, they're not natural, and they are anti-life. They have no relation to anything that is human. They are inhumane from creation standpoint, or just from any standpoint really. They imitate being the most humane and the most human, which is what makes them impossible to detect and what gives them their power, because they basically infiltrate and assimilate and then secretly take over. So they're gods of war, but they wage a secret war against humanity. Sometimes they may wage a real one even, but mostly it's hidden. But as you can see or hear, in plain sight. Just wondering why the patrolling planes have ceased to go overhead today too. They were non-stop yesterday. But then they don't need to send the planes over when they've got the workforce in front. You see, it's always one sound setup program after another, but it's continual. So it's like wherever I go, and it's continual in my 24-hour cycle. Apart from, say, you know, like maybe, you know, the early hours of the morning. But either way, I'm not going to. I've run out of space now, so I can't. But I'll have to try to. Whilst they're mentally disturbing me, that means also those beings looking around and consuming energy. There's a feeling